What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Springgan. Actually, it's more of a Springgan Time Thief deck. And without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 Spriggan brothers. Now, all the Spriggans have an effect to, they attach themselves from the hand or graveyard to an XYZ material, as XYZ material to an XYZ monster you control. Well, one Spriggan XYZ, more specifically. Which is pretty cool, so Spriggans parents always have XYZ material, which really isn't too much of a downside. Well, it's not a downside, it's a plus. It comes up occasionally. Now, brothers, when it's sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you can target one Spriggan's monster in your graveyard, except brothers, supposed to summon it. So if it's foolish or set from hand to grave, it essentially becomes a monster reborn. I run 2 Pedor. Pedor, tribute this card to target one Spriggan's monster in your graveyard, supposed to summon it. Also run one Rocky, same thing. If this card is normal special summoned, you can target one gold Golgonda or Spriggan's monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. So it's like instead of special summoning, it's adding it to your hand. Also run 2 Branda. If this card is in your hand full of grave, you can target one Spriggan's XYZ monster control, attach this card to its material, same as the rest of them. Additionally, if it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card and one Spriggan's monster with a different name. Add one Spriggan's card from your deck to your hand. And also run the 1 Captain Sargus. Now for the Time Thieves. I run 2 Regulator. If you control another monster, you can tribute this card to special summon 2 Time Thieves from deck, which is pretty good because the Adjuster has an effect on summon to polish the Time Thief, and Winder is a Rhoda. So I also run 3 Time Thief Winder, 2 Adjuster, and the 1 Bezel Ship. Winder, if you control an XYZ monster and this card is in your hand, you can special summon it by detaching a material from an XYZ monster control, which kind of helps with the Spriggan's effect to attach themselves. Regulator, if you normal special summon a Time Thief monster, you can special summon this card from the hand. Then if it's normal special summon, you can send 1 Time Thief from your deck to the graveyard, which would be the Bezel Ship. If Bezel Ship, you get a quick effect, target 1 Time Thief XYZ monster control, attach 1 card, or if this card is in your graveyard, you detach 1 XYZ material from an XYZ monster control, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, which could come up in the same way as it came up in the Ogdoadics. Also run the 1 Theron Regulus and 2 Ash. Also run 3 of the field spelled Gold Golgonda. Golgonda, basically, if you control an XYZ monsters, you can special summon Springans XYZ monster from your extra deck. And it's definitely pretty good because both Sargus and the Merrymaker don't require you to detach any materials to activate their effects. So you can literally just summon the Merrymaker and use this effect. Same with Sargus. Now I run 2 Spriggan's Booty. Now the Booty basically searches your Gold Golgonda. Also run the 3 Watch. It searches the Gold Golgonda, but if you already have the Gold Golgonda, you can add 1 Spriggan's monster from your deck to your hand. If you send the Spriggan's monster from your deck to your graveyard. So it becomes a Rhoda and a Foolish if you have the field spell. Also run 3 Spriggan's Tally Ho. Tally Ho, when it is activated, you can detach up to 3 materials from this card from a monster you control, then add 1 Spriggan's monster from your deck to your hand. And if you detach materials at activation, you can special summon that many Spriggan's monsters from your hand or graveyard up to the number of materials you detached. Also run 1 Startup. Basically, special summon a Time Thief monster from your hand during your main phase. Then you can match this card from your graveyard to target a Time Thief XYZ monster control. Attach 3 Time Thief cards with different types, monster, spell, and trap, from your graveyard to that monster's material. This comes up very seldomly. Also run 2 Sprite Smashers. Banish 1 Spriggan, Therion, or Sprite card from hand or graveyard. Then you can activate 1 of its effects, Special Therion, Special Springans, or banish 1 level rank 2 monster control and 1 card your opponent controls. Usually it's going to be to special summon the Springans monster from your deck. Also running 1 Foolish to help trigger the Spriggan's brothers. That's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps. I run 1 Interluder. I feel like Tindangle also has a card called Interluder, if I remember correctly. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can turn 1 Spriggan's XYZ monster you control to the extra deck, then apply 1 of these effects. Negate the activated effect, or special level a monster from your graveyard. You're usually going to be using it for the negate. Also run 1 Time Thief Flyback. Target Time Thief XYZ monster control. Attach 1 Time Thief from your hand or deck to that as material. You can also banish this card from graveyard to target Time Thief XYZ monster control. Attach 1 card from opponent's graveyard to that as material. Also run the 1 Retrograde. Retrograde is a spell trap negation if you control a Time Thief XYZ monster. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 copies of Spriggan Merrymaker. When this card is special summoned from your extra deck, you can send 1 Spriggan's monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it's the Foolish. Also got the one gigantic ship Sargas to search your Therion or your Therion or your Springans monster. Also run one Explorer. You don't really go into the Explorer as much anymore because in this build you don't really run a whole lot of the level 8s, and there's just much better options. Like honestly, X-Tom probably does a lot more in this build than the Explorer does. Of course, I also run the one-time Thief Reader, Garrus, Guska, and Waller. Just a bunch of solid rank 4 monsters. Also run the one Utopic Future and the one Utopic Draco Future for negation. Zeus, gotta have that, as well as an Access Code line, and Phoenix, Unicorn, and the Access Code Talker. Let me know what you think of this deck. Think it's a pretty good deck? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time I make. Bye.